Hello guys, welcome back. Today we have a Voge 650 dsX for review, and without delay, let's go and ride it off-road, find a spot for a nice front to back, then highway and national road tests, as well as night and city ride. So let's go! Alright, let's start by climbing that. No way, no way. I'm not an expert, so this review will be from a daily average user point of view. Let's start it up. Okay, first test, turn around on a tight spot. Not so bad. I'm 1 meter and 80 tall, and I can reach the ground with no problem. The clutch is very light, easy to operate. And so is the gearbox. This is my little off-road track, very easy and simple. Any motorcycle can do this, but it is good enough. So let's go left here. Very easy to ride. Have a little climb here with a bunch of rocks, but they are not loose, so it's okay. Yeah, first gear is always good for this. For the off-road, this motorcycle is pretty simple. Electronics, it only has the possibility of rear ABS being disconnected, and that is very good for the off-road. Nothing more, no traction control, no fancy riding modes, and that is to be expected in this price range. Pure and simple, like the Yamaha Tenere 700 for example. The TFT dash, though, is beautiful, and with tons of information. More on that later. Of course, it has a 19-inch front wheel and a 17 rear, so not exactly off-road measures, but it is a good compromise for us that love to tour on the road and then go off-road for a bit of fun. This unit has Pirelli's carbon RCR tires, and if they are the stock ones, they are very good indeed. I thought this motorcycle came with Matzellers, but I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to take it slow, since I'm an off-road noob, and of course, this is not my bike. The standing position is good. I can grab the fuel tank with my knees, but the handlebars seem a bit low for me. They are nice and wide, and I like that very much. Okay, so Here we have a bit downhill, so it's good to test the clearance. It is full of mud today, though I have to be careful. Very easy. No problem. It has a really good ground clearance. Alright, let's turn back and climb. I like this wide handlebar. I think it's a bit wider than my Benelli. There you go. Nice. Lots of grip, and the clutch control is really nice. I bet you guys wanted me to go to through this mud, this pond. I'm gonna get all dirty. Okay, let's go back and find a nice spot for the front to back. The seat is not so high, like I said before, at about 830 millimeters, and is very narrow near the tank, so you can reach the ground with ease, and that also contributes for confidence while off-roading and even on the road, of course. The suspension is a bit on the soft side. It is passing through these rocks quite nicely. I've ridden dozens of kilometers of tarmac by now, and I would say it's a nice compromise. It's softer than my dsX, but that is to be expected. I'm not going to compare too much this one to my own Benelli, since they are quite different motorcycles in their conception. Although they have the same power, the torque on this one is much better. Well, it's a 650 moto thumper after all. So this is trying to capture the same concept, the same idea of iconic motorcycles like the Suzuki DR650 or the Kawasaki KLR 650 or even the Honda XL 650L. Yes, one big cylinder. Pure fun this is. It vibrates a bit on lower RPMs as expected, but it is actually smooth on higher RPMs, where all the power is. The accelerator is very manageable, but if you roll it half or more, it becomes almost feral. Really fun. The front end wants to get up. I'm not going to try pull wheelies. No, I'm not. This motorcycle, after a few kilometers, gives confidence to the rider. I only did less than 100 kilometers with it, and I'm already comfortable in this off-road track. Of course, this is very, very easy. The brakes are very strong, Japanese-built Nissans. The rear one is really powerful, so very easy to tuck into a corner. Alright, this is the spot. Sometimes I go a bit forward, but today I'm seeing mud. It is a nice spot for a nice front to back for sure. Thanks for joining me, guys. Highly appreciated.
Yeah, it's possible, but too much mud. Look at that.
At first, I wasn't too keen on its looks, but I think it has grown on me. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful, don't you think? Voge or Vogue. Yes, it's a Chinese brand, but it's the top European brand for the Chinese giant motorcycle construction Longines. And the build quality is almost Japanese-like.
Recording from here.
I can't talk about the reliability, of course, since it is a new model, but the engine, it is an old workhorse from Rotax that was on the old BMW GS 650, improved for Euro 5 emissions of course, and that's why the exhaust is so silent. I apologize for my drone's noise, Sparky is getting old and louder too. So, front to back, let's check out this machine. Spoked rear wheel, 17-inch Pirelli Scorpion STR with tubes, rolling style monoshock. The exhaust and chain were swapped around. Center stand, nice extra, comes stock. For the pillion, chunky rubber foot pegs and beautiful grabbing handles. For the rider, also rubber foot pegs, but they are removable for the off-road. Nice solid crash bars, although I call them noob bars since they are really wide and not so beautiful. Front inverted Kayaba suspension, very nice product here. 18 centimeters travel, double disc Nissin brakes, very good. Full LED motorcycle with 2 normal beams and 2 I-beams. More on that on the night test. The LED indicators are dynamic, it's kinda cool, but when they start operating they have a weird lag about them. Adjustable windscreen in 3 positions while stop, this is very nice, but for me, even on the highest position, it's still a bit too low. So a lot of wind into my helmet. I suppose that is good for the off-road. Looks great, really well finished. Chunky rear tire, although it's just a 150. Looks really nice. So, let's start her up. Oh, the dashboard. Check out the TFT dash starting and info. You have tire pressure control, average fluid consumption, air temperature, Bluetooth connectivity, fuel level of course, trip 1. And on the top you have clock and battery voltage. This is very nice, complete, and it's beautiful. Oh, and it has an automatic night mode as well. The engine, 650cc, 48 horsepower for the A2 license, 60 Newton meters of torque, sounds good, although it has a bit muffled because of Euro 5. It's nice if you don't want to wake up the neighbors, but when you rev it, it sounds really great, this monocylinder. But enough talking, you guys want me to see riding, right? Okay, for the last but not the least, it's the weight. Yes, that is very important for the off-road. This motorcycle is not a sub 200 kilograms for sure, but it feels good. The center of gravity must be a little bit lower, since I don't feel it wants to tip over that easily. Of course, at the moment I don't have so much fuel, so that must be taken into account. This motorcycle can take about 18 liters of fuel, so that's 18 kilograms more or less on top. Oh, this is nice. Somebody's putting here a few rocks to allow us to cross more easily. We have still a lot of tests to do. Next we have the highway test, then twisties. Later we go into the center of Lisbon for a night ride in the town, and in the end the pro and cons and final remarks. We are now at the Autostrada A8 near the city of Flores, just north of Lisbon. It is a Portuguese highway and this section ahead is quite steep, so it's great to test a motorcycle under power. Also, the wind is almost at all times coming from the north, so head-on wind. we start 4th gear at 50 kilometers per hour. This motorcycle only has 5 gears, but don't you think that is a bad thing? The gear setup is really good. I would say the minimum speed for 5th gear is about 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. If you go lower, you will have many vibrations. The wind protection for my height is not so good, so I would need a taller windscreen for those big touring trips for sure. Or at least very good earplugs. It feels very stable at these speeds. 120 kilometers per hour, no problem. You see my head shaking a bit, but that's from the wind. Also, I don't feel many vibrations and I'm not using the rubber foot pegs at the moment. Power is plenty enough. As you can see, I'm at 120, and if I just roll on a bit, it goes to 130 or more very easily. Top speed should be around 170, but I'm not gonna test that since I don't think that is the purpose of this motorcycle. Fuel consumption going up this highway is about 5 liters to 100 kilometers per hour, so I would estimate that at 120 this motorcycle should use about 4 to 4.5 liters to 100 kilometers. Very nice, but of course should be noted that we don't have even a top case at the moment. So it is pretty economic for sure. I will talk about the other figures on another type of roads later. So, pretty good motorcycle for the highway for sure. On the average national or even local roads, this motorcycle also shines. The front suspension is not adjustable, but its softer setting makes it quite comfortable. Unfortunately, the seat is really hard as a rock, so my bum is already starting to hurt. So I guess for those long trips, this motorcycle will need a really better comfort seat. Of course, for the off-road, the hard seat is actually good. Also here, the power is more than enough, and if you roll throttle, I guarantee you that you will have lots of fun, and incredibly enough, it's still very economical. I guess that's the good thing about single cylinder. In average, I measured about as low as 3 liters to 100 kilometers by riding calmly at the speed limit. And if you have fun with it, like I'm doing now, it will stay under 4 liters to 100 kilometers, on average of course. Obviously, if you go to full power at all times, you're gonna pass 5 liters. And the weight, you really don't feel it during these twisties. You can see here, you probably don't, but the fuel consumption is too low. Pretty decent. I'm starting to feel that this is a real adventure motorcycle. On the twisties, this chassis is surprisingly good. The tires, the Pirelli Scorpion STR, are also very good. And as soon as you get used to them, you can have a lot of fun on the twisties and stay always under safety. Believe me, a very good rider can do this a lot faster than I can. And also, check out the torque of this engine. It's really fun. Welcome back to the night section. We are in the outskirts of Lisbon. Check out this beautiful machine. I'm not gonna do the entire front to back again, of course, but I am going to show you the dash, because before it was under the sun. Damn, that's beautiful. You can see the info. It's all here. Sounds great too, huh? Going to show you the LEDs. You can see the dynamic turn indicators as well. And the rear light is also pretty nice. The stop lights, braking lights are also very visible. Alright, let's go for a town night ride. I really love to ride it during the night, especially in the winter, but also in the summer. The LEDs are, I would say, decent. I think they are a bit on the low side. Of course they are adjustable, you can raise them a bit and that would improve the visibility a bit. This setup is probably a bit too low because I'm not a very heavy rider, and if you put the top guys, the front will lift a little bit, the lights will also rise. As for the throttle control and clutch control in town, nothing to say. It's nice, and if you give it a beans, it goes really fast, really fast. We have to have careful with this motorcycle as because of the speeding tickets. So once more, this motorcycle works in the city as well. That's why I love adventure motorcycles. They do everything good. They don't shine at anything, but they are good at everything. It's like jack of all trades. And once more, the fuel consumption is below 4 liters to 100 kilometers in the city. Of course, if you don't roll too much the throttle in every red light. And once more, these brakes are really good. Of course, the soft suspension dives a bit under heavy braking, but that is to be expected once more. Welcome to the downtown of Lisbon, guys. This is Marquês de Pombal Square. The engine doesn't feel too warm, that's good. Of course, we are in the last days of winter and it's not too cold in Portugal at the moment. I think the temperature indicator on the dashboard is not so accurate because it always shows a little bit too much temperature. We have also a USB charger on the left side of the dashboard. motorcycle feels lighter than actually is. Probably because I'm low fuel. But from the red lights, it's great. And this isn't even off throttle. Nice. Nice motorcycle for the town as well. Finally, I would like to talk about the positives and negatives of this motorcycle. So, for the pros, we have a good torque engine, low consumption averages, complete TFC dash, good Kayaba suspensions, good Nissin brakes, and it includes a center stand. For the negatives or the cons, well, in my opinion, of course, no hand guards, I'm not sure if only this unit, hard seat, not so good for touring, and wind protection, it needs a taller screen, at least for my height. So to conclude, in my humble opinion, this is a true adventure motorcycle. Although over 200 kilos, it feels that it can do a little bit of everything, and that's a very good thing. It's also well equipped. For 7,000 euros, it's a lot of motorcycle. There's also available aluminium cases at a special price for those of us who love long distance touring. So this is Espetacular, the Voge dealer here in Malveira, north of Lisbon in Portugal. Would I trade this motorcycle for mine? Probably not, since I'm more of a road touring guy. But I have to say, it has grown on me for sure. Looks great, huh? This color is awesome. And I've washed it, looks much better now. Okay, let's have a look inside the dealer. These guys are great, they are dealers for Voge and Mach-Bor. Look a lot of these babies. So you have the blue one here, the red one with the aluminium cases, really nice, don't you think? Not the red one, but this red one is the road version, so it has normal wheels. And this is, like I said, about 7,000 euros. These are the 500s. Also pretty neat. Kinda on pair with the Honda 500X. Red one. And some naked ones as well. This matte finish, it's really cool. Here we have a black and orange, and like I said, some naked ones. This dealer is huge, it's got a lot of motorcycles for sure. In this side there are the Mach-Bors, 500s. Really good motorcycle as well. I would love to try one of these and make a review of them. So the rest of the shop you can see. Helmets, jackets, all of the usual things for a dealer. Also, the mechanical service in this shop is amazing. I can guarantee quality for sure. If you need anything, you only need to show up. So guys, I hope you liked this review. See you on the next video. Take care.